3, 2, 1.
Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, the Oxford Police Department reported 16 non-fatal drug overdoses, largely thanks to Narcan on campus. We'll take a look at the overdose emergency kits finding their way into Greek houses.
After months of debate, taxis and rideshare apps may have new rules to follow when they get to the square. We'll break down where the new ordinance stands.
If a bunch of folks came in here dressed like Colonel Sanders with white masks sitting in the back, I mean, that would be a problem.
And a defense attorney in Ahmaud Arbery's murder trial is catching heat for comments he made in the courtroom today. We'll hear more from him coming up. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Hannah Baker.
And I'm Leah Blevins. Oxford has seen 10 deaths from overdoses over the last year, and even more have survived overdoses. In an effort to stop overdose deaths, emergency kits are now finding their way onto campus. NewsWatch reporter Tucker Lewis has the details.
Oxford has seen 10 deaths from overdoses and 16 hospitalizations in the past year alone. As a result, a supply of Narcan, a nasal spray used to treat an overdose, has been placed in each fraternity and sorority house on the Ole Miss campus. Kappa Sigma President Michael Messina says this is an effective way to treat an overdose.
But I think it's important because, if you were in one of the situations where, a member was overdosing, it seems like an effective way to intervene and, you could save a life.
Each Greek house received 4 doses of Narcan last semester, and each chapter had 5 people trained on how to use it. If a friend or a loved one is overdosing on an opioid and you have Narcan on hand, here are the steps to take. First, call 911. Second, grab the Narcan, lay them on their back, and administer the Narcan through the nostril. Then, lay them on their side. After 2 or 3 minutes, roll them back on their side and check if there's a heartbeat. If there's still no heartbeat, once again, administer Narcan through the nostril. If you run out of Narcan and there's still no heartbeat, it is time to administer CPR. But remember to call 911. IFC President Michael Raymond says that Narcan has not been used on an Ole Miss student yet, but he thinks this is a good first step in preventing overdoses around the Oxford community.
Not just within Narcan, but outside of that, continuing with other date rape drugs and informing people on what the signs and symptoms of those are and when you could be infected by those drugs, or just general awareness of the effects of drugs on student culture here at the university.
Communicator Assistant Director Melody Medeiros provided Narcan to the campus community and helped train the staff. She says her goal is to solve the problem rather than prevent it.
So at this point, it's more of how do we save someone from dying from a drug overdose? And if we can save them and they become addicted to something, or they are addicted to something, then we can treat them. But if they die, there's no hope at all for us to treat them and help them.
Medeiros is hoping Ole Miss will invite her back to train more students on how to use Narcan in the future. Tucker Lewis, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
If you or anyone you know is struggling with addiction, you can reach out to the National Addiction Hotline at 1-800-662-HELP.
Mississippi's last abortion clinic is being featured in Time magazine as the state's abortion ban heads to the Supreme Court. The issue will be highlighting the clinic as well as the director Shannon Brewer in its newest edition. Justices are set to hear arguments on December 1st regarding the Mississippi law that bans nearly all abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. It's one of the latest efforts by Republican-led states to overturn the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision, which established a constitutional right to the procedure. For more information, you can read the cover story at time.com.
Oxford's own Baptist Memorial Hospital received an A Leapfrog Hospital Safety Grade for fall 2021. This is a national distinction that recognizes the hospital for its achievements in protecting patients from harm and error. The Leapfrog Group is a nonprofit who assigns a grade to general hospitals across the country based on their patient safety records. This is the only hospital ratings program based exclusively on the patient's experience. Grades are updated twice annually, and grade details are available to the public. If you'd like to take a look at Baptist's full grade details, you can visit hospitalsafetygrade.org.
As the winter holidays approach, the annual Adopt a Basket program starts back up. The University of Mississippi community is working together to provide meals for area families in need. Just in time for Thanksgiving, the program is accepting food donations on the first floor of the Gertrude C. Ford Ole Miss Student Union. Collection times are noon to 4 p.m. daily through November 19. The event is co-sponsored by the Associated Student Body and Gertrude C. Ford Ole Miss Student Union. Some items you can donate include canned corn, green beans, condensed milk, or even a $25 gift card to Walmart or Kroger. To see the full list of accepted items, visit newswatcholemiss.com.
A new residential building on Depot Street has been approved. The project has been met with some difficulty as the Oxford Planning Commission denied the plan several times in September. The applicant is Roy Decker with the Servati Group. The approved design includes 4 floors, 6 2-bedroom units, and 3 3-bedroom units. Designated pickup locations on the square have been a topic of conversation for the city for months. Now it's looking more and more like a reality. NewsWatch reporter Tarragon Dixon has the latest on the ordinance.
City of Oxford is once again considering designated pickup locations for all cab and rideshare drivers after a similar ordinance that proposed pickup areas near the new downtown garage was tabled in the summer.
It's not going to be good for the taxi service. We don't see drunk people trying to go to the garage or the designated places they're trying to give us to look for a taxi. We have hard times now, our presence is here. Not seeing us, how can that help us?
Right now, cabs can pick up customers anywhere in downtown, which can be dangerous and disrupt traffic. OPD officer Breck Jones is hoping that the new ordinance will encourage people downtown to
come about in safe ways and help traffic flow and keep everybody safe.
New pickup locations have not been determined yet, but customers are hoping cabs will be able to park closer to bars, such as Tango's.
The more difficult it makes it to be able to get to your ride safely and quickly, the more I feel like we're going to choose other options of transportation, not necessarily drinking or driving, but walking or just getting friends to pick us up, which honestly, with the amount of people that do take taxis and Ubers, it's just not a good idea.
Board of Aldermen is going to vote on this ordinance next week, and pickup areas will be assigned if the ordinance passes. Tarragon Dixon, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
We will continue to bring you updates as the ordinance comes before the Board of Aldermen.
Get ready, Rebels, because Amazon's Prime Video Tailgate Tour will pop up this Saturday here at Ole Miss. Amazon Prime Video is celebrating the college football season and the Ole Miss versus Texas A&M game on Saturday. The pop-up tailgate will be outside the Vaught from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Some of the Prime Video titles that will be showcased include fan favorites like The Boys, The Wilds, Making the Cut, and a few others. There will also be numerous photo opportunities available for attendees. For complete details on all dates and activities related to the tour, visit tailgatetour.com.
The investigation into the deadly Astroworld concert is ongoing, and while we may not know how the victims died, we do know some warning signs to look out for in big crowds to prevent similar events in the future. We'll take a look at those warning signs coming up, but first, here's a look at your current conditions.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How was it? Is it good?
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's all good if you think you should check in. Yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
A defense attorney for one of the men accused of murdering Ahmaud Arbery is taking criticism after remarks surrounding who is allowed into the courtroom today, arguing that it may influence the jury's decision.
There's only so many pastors they can have. And if their pastor's Al Sharpton right now, that's fine, but then that's it. We don't want any more black pastors coming in here, or other Jesse Jackson, whoever was in here earlier this week, sitting with the victim's family, trying to influence a jury in this case.
Multiple prominent African Americans in the Christian community have voiced their support for the family over the course of the trial. Yesterday, Reverend Al Sharpton was there with the family in the courtroom. Today, when he made the remarks, Reverend Dr. William J. Barber was with the family in the courtroom. The judge over the trial said that he was told Sharpton would be taking the place of a family member and that he would not stop it unless it became a disruption in the courtroom or a distraction to the jury.
The trial of Kyle Rittenhouse is now hearing its end as the defense continues to make its case for the 18-year-old facing homicide charges for killing two and wounding another during a protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin last summer. Yesterday, Rittenhouse took himself to the stand. Camila Bernal has the latest on the trial.
After emotional testimony, now a more technical witness. John Black, a use of force expert, the first to take the stand Thursday.
Based on my analysis, the kick to the face occurred prior to the gunshot.
Rittenhouse's case relies on self-defense. He says he did nothing wrong and instead was ambushed during protests related to the police shooting of Jacob Blake in August of 2020.
He was very well prepared. He was confident in his decisions to have done what he did.
But prosecutors say Rittenhouse's actions constituted criminal homicide. He's charged with 5 felonies: first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree reckless homicide, attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and 2 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety.
It's not black, it's not white. You cannot isolate the fact that this meatball goes to a riot with a rifle.
Rittenhouse is also facing a misdemeanor for possessing a dangerous weapon by a person under 18. One expert says that if the jury believes he was defending himself, it could focus on the lesser charges and on why he was in Kenosha that night.
The jury is going to have a hard time chewing on that. So they may find him guilty of lesser included offenses.
I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Today is the 8th day of trial proceedings as the defense called its 10th witness to the stand.
The death toll of the Astroworld disaster officially rose to 9 last night when a Texas A&M student died in the hospital from her injuries. While the investigation into the crowd surge continues, many are asking not only why did this happen, but how can we make sure it doesn't happen again? CNN's Mandy Gaither tells us the warning signs for spotting when a crowd may turn dangerous.
The investigation continues into the tragedy at Houston's Astroworld Festival.
There was not even a centimeter you could fit between the person next to you.
Those who attended the concert describe a horrific scene, people being trampled.
There was just too many people there, and it was overcrowded. The way the barricades were set up had people trapped in, and it was a death trap.
Crowd safety experts like me and others have seen this situation historically over decades, causing many deaths to young people in the front of the stage.
Paul Wertheimer is founder of a concert safety consulting firm. He says the area closest to the stage is most dangerous for standing. Experts say crowd density can be calculated by the number of people per square meter. While it all depends on the size of the people, generally things get concerning once you reach 5 people per square meter.
People in the crowd have to have enough room that they can easily leave the festival seating crowd under reasonable conditions.
To stay safe in a crowd, experts say to be aware of your surroundings. And if people are close enough to bump up against you, it may be time to get out of that area.
You have to reduce density before people begin to get crushed.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Keep these tips in mind this weekend as the Grove will be packed with fans for College game day and a high-profile matchup against Texas A&M.
Over 2 million Illum COVID-19 home tests have been recalled due to false positives. The FDA says it's a Class 1 recall, the most urgent type. There have been 35 reports of false positives, which regulators say could lead to a delayed diagnosis or treatment. Luckily, no deaths have been reported, and the FDA says the reliability of negative test results is not affected. The tests were manufactured between February 24th through August 11th and were distributed from April 13th to August 26th. Those who have received a positive result with an Illum test are advised to have a follow-up test.
Congress is proposing new legislation to keep drunk drivers off the road. As a part of the government's new infrastructure plan, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration will have 3 years to develop rules for automakers. What this exactly entails is unclear, but the NHTSA is reportedly looking at a system that could observe a driver's performance. Another possibility is using sensors to detect a driver's alcohol level, which could prevent the car from starting based on the results. Once new regulations are finalized, automakers would have 2 years to install the technology.
It looks like Santa Claus might not be coming to every small town and city this year. Santas are currently in short supply during the pandemic across the U.S. The tight labor market has many people across the U.S. unable to book one of Santa's helpers to visit kids ahead of the holidays. The head of a professional Santa Claus school in Denver says the region's down about 10 to 15% of Santas this year, while the other staffing agencies say the demand is up over 120%. The current labor market has companies in other industries struggling as well. One solution to this shortage could be virtual or video visits that many are using.
Coming up in sports, Coach Yo and the women's basketball team will hit the hardwood tonight for the first game of the regular season. And hear what Ole Miss wideout John Rice Plumlee has to say about what the team feels about the big spotlight on Saturday's game.
I surrender.
All right, pal.
Hey, Dad, do we have a gun?
What's up?
Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Can I play with it?
No, absolutely not. It's not a toy. You know that. Anyway, I need it to protect you, your sister, and Mom.
But what about the 8 kids who get shot every day by mistake?
Where'd you hear that?
Where do you keep it?
It's hidden.
I bet it's on the top shelf of the closet, under your sweatshirts. Is it loaded? Remember when I found my Christmas gift? You always told me to be curious.
No, that's not what I meant.
And when it's just me and Mom, I could use the gun to protect her.
No, Justin, I promise. I'm always here for you.
But Dad, you're not always here.
There's an epidemic spreading. Scientists say it can change your brain. It can release dangerous chemicals like formaldehyde into your bloodstream. It can expose your lungs to acrolein, which can cause irreversible damage. It's not a parasite, not a virus, not an infection. It's vaping.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
As the COVID-19 vaccines become available, you might be asking yourself, should I get it? And if I do, will I be able to go about life without putting my family at risk? You've got questions, and that's normal. The fact is, the vaccines are safe and effective. They're going to save lives. To get the latest on the COVID-19 vaccines, visit getvaccineanswers.org, because getting back to the moments we miss starts with getting informed. It's up to you.
Ole Miss women's basketball will take to the hardwood tonight as they tip off their season against the Belmont Bruins, a team that has made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament. With an early test at home like this, Coach Yo is interested to see how her women step up to the challenge. The Rebs are stacked with a lot of talent this season, like transfer senior Angel Baker from Wright State, graduate student LaShonda Monk from ECU, and sophomore Destiny Salary from Tennessee. All three are expected to make an immediate impact on the court. Tip-off tonight is set for 7 p.m. Head basketball coach Kermit Davis will welcome some new faces to Oxford next fall. 6'4" combo guard TJ Caldwell, 6'5" shooting guard Robert Cowherd, and the big 6'10" forward Malik Ewan. Caldwell can shoot from three, has a great pull-up game, and can be an elite defender. And he can play the 1 and the 2. Next, we have Cowherd, who Coach Davis says is one of the toughest guys in the 2022 class. He is an elite shooter, and with his size and toughness, he makes for a great addition to the Rebs. As for Ewan, what Coach Davis loves of his is, of course, his size, skill, and good footwork around the post. He can drive it, he can pass it, and he can really make a three. These guys make me excited for next season, and this one has only just begun. The College Game Day crew rolled into town today, and they are setting up in the Grove as we speak. One might think that all the excitement and the publicity would heighten the emotions of Ole Miss football this weekend. But wide receiver John Rice Plumlee says he believes the Rebs are calm, cool, and collected.
Like game day's coming, I don't think anybody's going to get huge eyes or get butterflies in their stomach. You know, I think, not to downplay it, it's really exciting, but I don't think it's going to kind of put big lights on this team or get anybody stage fright or anything like that.
Not only are College Game Day and the Texas A&M Aggies in town this weekend, but we might have some celebrity guests in Oxford as well, so Rebel fans can look forward to that. Kickoff for the Powder Blue game at the Vaught is set for 6 p.m. After a tough road loss to the number 22 Tennessee, Ole Miss volleyball is back in the Gillum Center tonight to face another SEC opponent, LSU. The Rebels are 4-1 in their last 5 matches, including 4 straight wins in SEC play for the first time since 2019. Last season, the Rebels took down the Tigers in a 5-set thriller in Baton Rouge. And with the Ole Miss offense on a tear right now, they are searching to win back-to-back matches against LSU for the first time since Ole Miss won 3 straight from 2015 to 2016. Tip-off for both tonight and tomorrow is set for 6 p.m. The 17th ranked Ole Miss women's soccer team will be hosting the first round of the NCAA tournament and are set to face off against St. Louis tomorrow night. Ole Miss has received a bid to the NCAA championship for the 10th time in program history. Friday's match will be the 3rd ever NCAA championship match hosted in Oxford, and first since 2015. Last season, Ole Miss advanced to the 2nd NCAA Sweet 16 in program history. The Rebels are looking to make a run for the title again this season and have a lot of confidence doing so with their SEC Goalkeeper of the Year, Ashley Orcus, and Haley Stackpool with her 15 assists, making her 3rd in the nation. Kickoff for tomorrow's match is set for 7 p.m. That's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at NewsWatch_Ole Miss for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Emily. And today we honor all our servicemen and women.
That's right. We'll take a look at some of the ways Americans are celebrating Veterans Day next on NewsWatch Ole Miss.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First, I took them to feel better. Then, I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks.
Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you, too.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is blue, I'll be looking at the moon, and I'll be seeing you. I'll be looking at the moon, and I'll be seeing you.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Today is Veterans Day, and across the country, everyday citizens and politicians are taking the time to thank all those who have served and continue to serve the United States in the armed forces.
In Washington, President Biden laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. And right here in Oxford, local politicians and other guests gathered at the Veterans Building off of South Lamar to celebrate the sacrifices made by these brave men and women.
Yes, my dad's a veteran. He loves today, and it's a great day to celebrate all those who have served our country.
I agree. Thank you to everyone who has served.
That's all for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Leah Blevins.
And I'm Hannah Baker.
Thank you, and good night.